Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to take a moment to share this with everybody. So bear with me just a second. Try to be on time. Try to make sure I'm on time. I know it's a little silent, but I'm just giving it a second for everybody to get in. I ain't playing no music in the background. I don't want no issues. I have not been feeling 100% my best today, but in the sense of commitment and consistency. And I love this space. So here we are. Here we are. Almost done sharing it with everybody. Let me also share it on my personal page too. Forgot about that. So we're gonna give it 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Two more minutes. I hope that you all have had an amazing day. Hey, Zaya. There we go. Let me see. I'm just trying to send it to everybody I know. Trying to send it to everybody I know. If you're just joining in, say hey, say hey. If you're just joining in, say hey. All right. Hey, Navaya. Hey, how are you? I am, forgive me, y'all. I am not feeling my absolute best today. Um, but like I said, for the sake of consistency, and again, I love this group. I wanted to make sure that I was on tonight, so we can discuss a couple of things. I will not be on past 7:30, if that. So, if you know somebody that you usually see on, share it with them and tell them to join in now. Uh-oh. Let me grab my phone, y'all. It fell out of my hand. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm back. I had to grab my phone. Um, all right. So good evening. A few of us are on here. So, like I said again, I hope that you all are having an amazing day. I hope that you all are having a great week. I mean, it's only Tuesday, but I hope that you all are having a great week. Um, and I hope that you met some new open doors, ways made, um, and opportunities this week. And my prayer is that you would allow God to really, really, really um, hone in on, or allow God into the space. I'm sorry, of of the things that really concern you, right? So, like as we have been talking about in this whole grace and growth space, is just making sure that we're giving ourselves grace and space to be able to grow, to be able to be stretched, to be able to learn, and to be able to allow, excuse me, God to do exactly what it is that He wants to do in our life by way of the things that we've experienced, and the things that life brings to us, and all the things. So, with that, like I said, as far as for today, and again, forgive my voice, this just happened like in the last 2 hours. So, forgive my voice, it sounds a little hoarse today. But we in the grace and growth space, right? This is like a not transparent, but this is a safe space. Right, this is a safe space. So today, like I said, if you're just joining in, I honestly was not feeling my absolute best today, and I was considering like whether or not I would hop on and do this, or if I would just give myself another week, and then just come back into it this week, and um, or next week. And I got a text that said, "Hey, are you going live tonight?" And I said, "You know what? That is a great question. That's a really great question. Yeah, I'm going live at 7 p.m. And so here we are. And again, um, when you're in that season of being stretched, when you're in that season of growing, I'm telling you, every angle sometimes will feel like you're being pulled and stretched um, and molded, and sometimes it's not always as comfortable. And like y'all, I'm really okay. It's just a season of stretching and molding and all the things. So sometimes it gets a little bit much, but we're here. um so we have a couple of topics that are left for us to discuss, but I want to insert something real quick because I wanted to. Today we're only in June 2, the second day of June. um so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have four. Oh, there's five weeks in June. I didn't know that. Okay, kind of, sort of. But we are we have, who was that? I thought I put my stuff on do not disturb. Here I am getting we are we have weeks after today. We have 4 more Tuesdays that we'll meet for this month. Well, actually, really 3 more Tuesdays, because The 30th, I'm going to take a pause and a break. So for 2 weeks, on the 30th and on the 1st of July, I'm going to take a break because uh, the 30th, that's the couple of days after my birthday. So I'm going to take a pause on that week. And then on the 1st, that's Friday, not the 1st, the 7th. No, 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 never mind then. I'm thinking about, forget what I just said. Just on the 30th. We'll be back on the 7th because the 1st is a Wednesday. So I hope that makes sense. So we have 3 more Tuesdays that we'll be meeting for this specific space, the Grace and Growth Room. And we have a couple more topics that I do want to discuss and dive into. But I wanted to kind of insert something real quick here, and talk about something just a little bit different that is not on one of the topics that we picked. We will still be touching on toxic purity culture, and I think I'm going to try to see if one of my girlfriends can come on with me. So we are going to speak about toxic purity culture, and we're also going to talk about, somebody asked, what do you do when you can't hear God? um, what do you do when you can't hear God? What do you do when you can't hear God? So, um, but I wanted to insert something real quick, and I wanted to talk about friendship circles, friendship circles. Um, and let me share this. Hold on, because somebody else asked me for it, so I want to share this real quick. All right, I'm almost done, y'all. And I'm chewing this gum on live. I need to spit it out. All right, let's see. All right. Okay, now I'm here. Was just trying to send a couple of messages out. Okay, so I wanted to interject and I wanted to talk about friendship circles really quickly. Um, and the reason I keep dropping stuff, y'all. And the reason I wanted to talk about friendship circles is because when you talk about growing and you talk about being graceful in that space of growing, it's so important to have people in your life that support you, right? Even even if it's one friend, 10 friends, you got a little group, whatever. It's important to have people in your life that that will push you to growth, that will support your healing, that will love you, that will uphold you with the truth. Um, and that's so important. That's so key. And I think I've told you guys before when we did Color Me Free, back in 2024, I had a whole panel and we talked about friendships. We called it the group chat. Um, and I still want to bring something like that back. And it was just a beautiful space where I shared some of my friends with you all, that I've had for over 20 years. Um, well, we've been out of high school for 21 years. What? We've been out of high school for 21. So about 25 years we've been friends. And but us as a group for sure 20 years. And the things that I've learned from my friend group is that friends are something that you need in your life as a means of support. I've grown up in many different spaces, right, where I have been able to garner some beautiful relationships with other people. Um, Not just my friends that I introduced some of you all to at the Color Me Free event, but also friends that I have met through my spaces of worship, friends that I have met in places that I've worked, friends that I have met um, by way of relationships that I have, and they kind of connect us. So there's several different avenues where I have been able to excuse me, I've been able to garner some really, really amazing friendships with both men and women. Okay. Um, one of my, and I want to talk about support. So one of my good friends, um, they're one of the first people that come to mind, but I have several different. So any of my friends, if y'all watch this replay, if you're watching it now, if I don't name you or whatever, it is not because I don't value you. I'm just trying to bring a point home. Bring a point home. Um, but one of my friends that I've been thinking about quite a bit lately is one of my good friends, one of my brothers who has gone on to be with Jesus. And I know he's gone on to be with Jesus. He was saved. He loved the Lord. Um, and he loved God's people. He was one of those individuals in which supported everybody, um, especially those that he loved and cared for. He was one of the first persons to buy my book. He had a podcast called the Speak Life Podcast, and he put me on his podcast. I felt real famous, you know. Then you have when I had my first conference, he had his Speak Life brand, and he was so excited to vend at the event. And, not just to display what he has, but to also just support me and support what God was doing in my life. That's one person. One of my other great friends, um, my great that's my ice machine, y'all. One of my great friends, Chastity, she is one of my best friends. I love her dearly. Um, our relationship, like many of my other relationships, they just kind of formed organically. With me being myself, with them being themselves, and allowing us to have space where we could grow and love and learn one another. And she has been a great supporter in everything that I've done, not just by showing up, but also by sowing her time, her money, um, her resources into the things that God has put on me. She's encouraged me by praying for me. She supported me by loving me, standing with me in marriage, standing with me and loving on me in some great losses, and just has been there, right? Um, then my group of friends that I showed y'all from Color Me Free, these are my people. I've known them for over 25 years, and we've grown together from kids to now we are women. We're in our late 30s, going into our 40s, and some of us have children and husbands and careers and all these things, and we've watched each other lose, we've watched each other win, we've watched each other go through some crazy times that if you don't have the right circle, they judge you and throw you away. But we've loved on one another, right? And it got me to thinking today how important it is to your growth by who you're connected to, right? How important it is to be able to lean on a community of people um, to get advice from, to cry with, to laugh with, to celebrate with, to mourn with. Um, you know, People who say like all they need is God, or all they need is their spouse, or all they need is their children. Like those people are important, but you need friends. You need friends Okay. You need friends because friendships help you to grow. They help to stretch you because it is a relationship that is voluntary in the sense of, I mean, you can try not to have friends, right? Um, but friends are needed, right? Okay. Um, there was a Bible verse I wanted to see here. Um, um, let's see, where is it? Where is it? Mm-mm-mm. I can't find my verse, y'all. I cannot find my verse. Where is it? Where is my verse? Where is my verse? I can't find it. Don't mind me, y'all. Okay. Um, this wasn't my verse, but we can go here. So, when you talk about friendships, like I said, they help you grow, they help stretch you. So, Proverbs speaks about and how iron sharpens iron, right? And so it's important that you're around people that grow, that help you grow, right? Um, Sometimes, like, it can be cool if y'all can party together, y'all can just laugh together, but you'll be able to see like who your real friends are when you start something. Meaning, let's say you're trying to get serious about your relationship with Christ, but your friends maybe ain't on that wavelength. You'll get to know like how you all can maneuver in that space. If you start a business, you'll get to know who your friends are. If you get married, you'll get to know who your friends are. You have children, you'll get to know who your friends are. You advance in your career, in your education, um, you'll get to know who your friends are. And it's important that sometimes you'll notice that as you grow, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes your friendships don't grow with you. How do you handle that? How do you handle when you seem to be growing outside of this relationship, right? I've had a few friendships that were like for a season, they were like the thing. We were hanging out, we were loving on one another, we were talking, we were texting, we were hanging out, we were shopping together, we were eating together. You coming over my house, I'm coming over yours. We sitting down, we chilling. I'm opening your fridge, you opening mine. What I'm trying to say is we're very comfortable with one another, loving on one another. And then all of a sudden, you notice as you start to grow in certain spaces and areas in your life, how that friendship just kind of fades out. I've had a few of those in my life where some of those friendships just phased out. And some of it didn't have to do with any bad blood or that we had a falling out or that I don't even care about them anymore. It just kind of phased out. Then I had a friendship with somebody that I really cared about. And it was like a sistership, a sisterhood. She looked up to me, but I loved her and respected her just the same. And we just had a misunderstanding. We literally had a misunderstanding, and I didn't know what happened, but it's like our relationship had stopped for several years. But I prayed about it because it really bothered me, right? Okay, and that's another part of growing and stretching. Again, discerning and knowing when you should go after a relationship, when you need to pray about the relationship, or if it's something that's just going to be needs to be removed from your life. But this particular person I had to take to the Lord in prayer, and the Lord had encouraged me and pressed upon my heart to go make it right. And I did. And to make a very long story short and to not give a bunch of details, that person is a part of my life today. And I love them down, right? Sometimes there might be breaks in your friendships and relationships, but you have to again be able to discern the time, right? Then there are some friendships that you have, and it's like this person is your absolute best friend. Forgive my ice maker, y'all. But this person is your absolute best friend. You talk every day. You share every single secret. You know their secrets, you know theirs, and then all of a sudden life starts to change and now that relationship fades out. Right? What do you do when those things happen? Do you just not create new friendships? Do you allow your heart to get hardened? Or say you had a falling out, do you allow that space to cut you off from inviting new people in, inviting friendships in? No, because friendship is important. Again, iron sharpens iron. The truth about who you are, about where they are, is connected to you all building relationship and stretching one another. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. Again, talking about friendship relationships. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. I don't think anybody should be friendless, because how are you going to grow when you don't have relationship? How are you going to grow when you don't have anybody challenging you, loving you, questioning you, encouraging you, right? How are we going to allow ourselves to grow in those spaces? I hope this is helping anybody, because y'all not talking to me in the chat. Y'all got to talk to me in the chat so I know that it's helping. But friendships are important. And if you're in spaces where you're just around these people and you're not growing, you're not being stretched, then maybe it's okay to question a relationship, right? Which brings me to another space. One of my oldest, bestest friends, I met her when I was 12 or 13, and we are still friends to this day. And there were two times in our life, in our relationship, because so I've known her. I think I've known her the longest. I've known her almost 30 years. In a couple of years, it will be 30 years that I've known her. So we're running on about 27, her and I, of being close friends. And we had two times in our relationship where we had a conversation where I don't know what's going on in my voice. This is literally happening in real time. But we had a conversation where she said, I don't know if we're really friends. And I was like, now that I'm older, I get what she was saying. But in the moment, I was offended. Because I'm like, what you mean? What you mean? Are we real friends? And she was just like, because I just feel like, we're just around each other because we've known each other a long time and not because we really like care about each other or even like really know each other. And I was like, what you mean know you, girl? Like, I spend most of my time with you. Like, I love you. Like, your child is like my child. Like, I love her. I love your parents. I love your grandparents. I've been here. When things went left, you've been here for me. My parents was going through stuff and going through a divorce in high school. I used to escape to her house, and all that stuff. Like, she was just like, maybe we just don't know each other. And at the time, I was very offended. But at the time, she was going through trying to understand, like, really what her friendships and relationships really meant to her. Right. And then for me, when I think about it now, as an almost 40-year-old woman, I have more understanding and empathy now about what she was thinking about then. And she wasn't thinking about throwing me away, but she was trying to evaluate, where is your space in my life? Are you just here because we're comfortable? What am I getting out of this relationship? What are you getting out of this relationship? And sometimes you have to be okay with having those conversations or having that introspective evaluation of where do you stand in these relationships in your life? Do you benefit from these people and do they benefit from you? Where do you stand? Are we just talking to each other and hanging out or whatever because we've known each other a long time? Or are we doing this because I value your presence in my life, and vice versa? For order for all of us to grow and to stretch into the spaces that we know that we're supposed to be in, that we know that our that God has put inside of us, that we know we want to heal to a certain space, we want to grow in a certain space, we want to stretch in a certain area, you have to be okay with your circle changing. There's this saying that if you are the smartest person in your circle, you're in the wrong circle. In my circle of friends, I have friends that come from all different types of career bases, right? Project management, tech, finances, entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? I have, I have friends that, they're degreed. You know what I mean? They have done formal education, right? They're getting masters and doctorates, right? I have friends who are uh most of, yeah, pretty much. I think I just have one or two friends that are not married right now, but my friends, married, you know what I mean? And love their spouses, right? Love their families, right? And we all have a space where we can learn. Oh, I forgot, nurses, RNs, going to school to be a nurse practitioner. That's basically like a baby doctor for me. Nurse practitioners, they do all the work. um but I mean, I have friends that have decided, like, they're making pivots in their life, they're making career changes, they're doing the scary thing. And I love that for us, because we're always looking to reinvent who we are. We're open to learning more about ourselves. We're open to not being stuck. Yes, we want to grow. Yes, we want to settle down in a sense, but not settle, if that makes sense. If all my friends were just settled and they just weren't open to learning more about themselves, they weren't open to growing, they weren't open to evaluating, having deep conversations, have growing in their relationship with Christ, loving on their husbands, loving on their wives, loving on their children, going back to school, stretching themselves in their businesses and entrepreneurship, like, I don't know if I would be able to survive in that space, because I glean and I learn and I feed off of the strength and the relationships that I have with other people that are constantly learning, constantly exploring, constantly evaluating themselves, evaluating the spaces around them, and just making sure that they're in spaces that is going to be good for their growth. So we spent all these several weeks talking about grace, talking about growth. But that's not just you by yourself, right? That's not just you by yourself. That's you being able to connect to people that is going to help you grow. Connect to people that's going to help sharpen you. Connect to people that's going to help push you into a healed space and not a wounded space. People that's going to help you see beyond your current circumstances. People that are going to support you and love you and hold you up in some of your worst times and just circle around you, even if they don't know what to say, but they're able to sit with you in your suffering. Right? People who are committed to understanding you and not misunderstanding you. People who are committed to seeing you be the best version of yourself and not judging you in a sense of always wanting to look for what's wrong with what you're doing. People who are willing to sit and understand you and be patient with you, and vice versa. people who are wanting to do life with you, right? To grow with you, to celebrate you and not tolerate you. In order for us to grow in the next space, in the next season of our lives, we've got to evaluate the people that are in our circle. Sorry. We've got to evaluate the people that are around us. We've got to evaluate what's feeding us. And I'm not saying, there are some spaces that you'll be in that may feel uncomfortable, but this is not the time for you to be in spaces where you feel tolerated and not celebrated. Because all that's going to do is drain you. All that's going to do is have you second guessing who you are. All that's going to do is have you questioning yourself, in the sense of, and when I say questioning, I mean like questioning everything about you. You start to feel uncomfortable. Like, that is not the will of God for your life. Being stretched and being challenged is different than feeling like you got to question who you are. I believe that everybody deserves at least one good friend. My prayer for everyone is that you have a great circle of support around you. My prayer for everyone is that you are able to build relationships that literally change and alter your life. My prayer for everyone, including myself, is that you are able to connect with people that will literally push you into destiny. That is my prayer. Because friendship and relationship in this season is going to be something that is going to allow you to grow beyond your wildest dreams. Because what the enemy would want is for you to stay by yourself, for you to stay quiet, for you to not build relationships, for you to not have a support system. That's what he would want. Because if he can get you isolated, if he can get you by yourself, then if he can get you isolated and by yourself, then all in all, that means that now you're operating in fear. Now you're operating in self-doubt. Now you're operating and not believing in what God says about you and your identity in Christ. And it will have you questioning everything around you. It's so important for you all to make sure that your friendships are what's growing you, and being okay if for just a little bit that God starts to shuffle your world. And when I say shuffle your world, where you start seeing people fall out. And when I say fall out, I'm not talking about y'all got to argue and fight and all this stuff. But when people are slowly removing themselves from your life and it's feeling like, start to evaluate, what does this person add to me? What does this person add to my life? What do I add to this person's life? How am I better because they're here? How are they better because I'm here? Right? What is it about our relationship that helps us to grow? What is it about our relationship that helps us to be better? What is it about our relationship that I can pinpoint and understand that I used to be here, but now I'm here? Like, what about the relationship can I identify as a space where I have grown? Because we just read the scripture in Ecclesiastes, right? Where he says, and again, forgive my voice, that two is better than one. Because when one falls down, the other can pick him up. Pity the one who falls and has no one to pick them up. And if your circle can't pick you up, then maybe you in the wrong circle. If your circle can't hold you accountable, maybe you're in the wrong circle. If you don't feel safe to cry and to vent and to pray and to be vulnerable in your circle, then maybe you in the wrong circle. And then also evaluate what keeps you from being vulnerable with them. What keeps you from feeling safe with them? Is it them? Is it you? I mean, I could go all day with this. But my prayer is for that each one of you that are watching this, or any of you that are watching the replay, that you will evaluate your friendships and your relationships in this season as you're growing and you're operating in grace. Because one thing that I do know about God is that he will give you grace for every season. He will give you grace for every space, and you have to be able to understand and do introspective work to understand like where you are and where you're going and how these relationships benefit your space. And y'all said it helped, so I hope it helped. And listen, let me also tell you too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how young or how old you are. If you desire friendships, I'm telling you, ask the Lord and he will do it. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. Now, my personality is a little bit more extroverted in most spaces, right? I can talk to a stranger. I can, right? I don't always, but I can. I can almost make a friend anywhere, almost. Some people I'm just not their cup of tea, and that's okay. In some spaces I clam up when I get a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay. But I say all of that to say that if you want and desire relationship and friendship with other people, one, pray about it. Two, be open to it. And three, understand what it is that you're looking for. Right? I told y'all and I'm still on it. I've slowed down because school, oh, school, y'all. I feel like it'd be taking over my life. Um, but I still try to keep connection with people that I value and that are important to me. And I have people that reach out to me and they understand like I'm in a season where I'm grinding and I'm doing homework and I'm studying and I'm, assignment after assignment. Some weeks I have, depending on the classes, I have 3 and 4 and 5 assignments due in a week, right? And I get grace from my friendships and my relationships because they know where I'm at right now. And it's not that I'm not um that I won't still show up when I can. It's not that I'm not available. It's just that I'm in a different season. So understanding like you have to know like who your circle is and who can love you and support you in the different seasons in your life and vice versa. So I hope that this helps somebody. I know it was a slow start because I was trying to get situated. Um, but I hope that this has helped someone. And this again was not on our list, but it was something that I wanted to discuss because it was on my heart to talk about your friendships and your relationships. So I do hope that it's helping. If you got any questions or anything, definitely put those in the chat. But if they don't come up, if you don't have any questions or comments, I do want to share something with you. So I had this moment today. Like I said again, y'all pray for me because I think I'm just tired. When I say tired, like I need to get some good rest. Okay, not my eternal rest, huh? There's a lot more work to be done. You got to make sure the devil understands your words. Okay, don't be trying to use what I'm saying against me. I got a lot of work to do, long life to live. But I'm just in a season now where it's a lot going on, and I think I haven't been able to slow down as much as I need to, and my body is telling me like, sis, get it together. So y'all just keep me lifted in prayer. Agree with me in prayer for strength. To maneuver all the things that are happening in life right now. Outside of that, though, I was sitting today and I was really just meditating, and Holy Spirit had pressed upon my heart for me to go and open up my book and just start reading it again. And let me tell you, it has completely blessed me. It is blessing me. It's amazing how my own words, and I wrote every single word. It is amazing how my words are continuing to bless me. So there's something that I have been sitting on for quite some time. I even tried to introduce it, and then for fear, and I felt like, oh, don't nobody want this. Everybody doing it. I backed off from it, and I didn't do it. And so while we have a little bit of momentum, and we're already doing Tuesdays, starting Where we at? Let me look at my calendar again because I don't want to say something wrong. Starting July 7th. Somebody put in the chat July 7th, July 7th, July 7th, July 7th. Starting July 7th, we are doing the Color Me Free intensive. Somebody put some hearts or something in the chat. I don't know. But this book right here, we are doing the Color Me Free intensive. Okay. If you do not have a copy of the book, I'm going to be dropping the details tonight, probably at about 8:30. And when I drop them, I want you to share it. I want you to comment. And I want you to like it. I want you to invite somebody to it. This isn't going to cost you anything for these next 5 weeks, except for you to purchase the book if you have not purchased it. If you have not purchased it, you will need to purchase the book in order for us to do this together. Okay. I am a little nervous, but I'm excited because I've been holding off on this for 2 years. 2 years. I wrote this book in 2020 and is meant to be an interactive journal. And the Lord really pressed upon my heart to do the Color Me Free intensive. And I just didn't do it. I was finding every excuse to not do it, if I'm being honest, because this is the grace and growth space. But now is the time like none other. And I tried to talk myself out of it and say, Kia, you got so much going on, da da da. But this is the perfect time. You know why? Because I'll be on a break from school. And so I'll be able to focus in on this before the fall semester comes into play. And I want to do this as soon as possible. So July the 7th, I'm going to put a link and a flyer up later today, and I'm going to tag all of you in it if you'd like to be a part of it. The only thing it's going to cost you is to actually purchase the book. I have some books on hand. And so if you need a book, when you fill out the form, it's going to ask you to put that information in to identify whether or not you have it. And then we can start the communication process for you getting the book. It can also be ordered on Amazon. I will put that link there as well, but I do have some physical copies on hand. The book is $15. And so this is going to be an amazing time of intentional growth, I believe. It's going to be an amazing time of intentional conversations. They will not be happening on the live stream. We will be setting up a Zoom where we will all get together and we will do this together. And it'll be a safe space for us to work through this and get it done. So I'm excited. If y'all are excited, put some hearts in the chat, some hand claps, something, because I am so excited to do this with you. Yes, Navaya, she said yes, I will bring a copy to church with me on Sunday. Text me. You got my number, so text me, remind me. Thank you. Sister Yvonne, she says she's got the book, and she's like, we did our thing. So listen, if you've already read through it and already read through your copy, amazing. Pull it out again, because we're going to go through it together. And I'm really, really excited. And this is a space for us to just grow intentionally. And I believe that this book, it's very personal to me, but I do believe that there are spaces where everybody can relate. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to color ourselves free. I was reading it recently, and one of the lines that stood out to me is I was reading the passage about, what did I talk about? Let me just read it real quick, and then we're going to get into it. If you are anything like me, you may have been somewhat of a perfectionist. If there was a picture to be colored, you made sure to color within the boundaries provided. You made sure to outline the image and shade it in with the perfect color. God forbid you mess up. You were then compelled to start from the beginning. This example is a reflection of what I deemed necessary for myself. I always believed I needed to be perfect. If the lines were not perfectly outlined and shaded with perfection, was it really art? I used to wonder what would happen if I colored outside the lines or boundaries that I had placed on myself. What would happen if I just stepped outside of my comfort zone? What would really happen if I believed in all of my God given abilities? Maybe even more consequently, what are the things that what were the things that were holding me back? So, this is designed that we're going to take off the barriers. We're living in a space and a time where what do we got to lose? What exactly do we have to lose? Nothing, but we have everything to gain. So July 7th, we're going to be meeting via Zoom. Again, if you don't have the book, you'll need to purchase it. That's what it'll cost you. And it'll also cost you your commitment for 5 weeks, 5 Tuesdays. We're going to get together and we're going to do this intimately together on Zoom. So I'm excited for us. I'm excited for you. And I'm going to drop the information tonight at 8:30. So when you see it, please share it because the link will be there. And let's color ourselves free. Okay? So I'm excited. Thank y'all so much for joining me again tonight for the Grace and Growth Room. You guys have been amazing for all of these Tuesdays. We have a few more Tuesdays left where we will do this, and then we'll put a pause because we'll be doing the intensive, and we'll see. I don't know if God's gonna bring this thing back or how we're gonna do this, but I definitely feel heavily impressed to do this Color Me Free intensive now and without hesitation. So join me, mark your calendars, starting July 7th for the next 5 Tuesdays after. We will be meeting at 7 p.m. on Zoom, and you'll get all those details when you sign up. Okay. I'm praying that your relationships will flourish. I'm praying that the Lord will bless you and keep you, and may his face shine upon you. Thank y'all for your commitment on these Tuesday nights. We got a few more Tuesdays in June. If y'all don't know, it's my birthday month. It's my birthday month. And even if you just want to do a gift to me, buy the book. Shameless plug, buy the book. All right. I love y'all. I pray that you have a good evening. Keep me lifted in prayer. Agree with me for strength for the journey, and I'll do the same for you. I love y'all. Until next time, peace.